good. I like
You
him.
know why I picked it was because, well, how are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm
I
kind of
just got
like
out of
you.
a bath, so I'm a little.
Well, you can see I just kind
I'm
of
I'm
fixed my hair
raining.
real
I'm
quick.
raining.
I was going right up until 2 minutes before we were going to have our pre-show meeting. I have been running and running all day. You've been going all day. We've
I
both been
have.
busy. After we finish the show, I have to cat sit for two different people, two cats for one, four cats for another, then come back to my little Siamese. That makes 7 cats.
Oh my goodness. And she's probably horrified. No, you know why I
What?
wanted to do the rainy
What?
one is because did you hear Donald Trump's saga today where he was talking
Mm-hmm.
about how I'm dying?
The little teeny
I
violin. Yeah.
know we got to play. And I thought, this is like, the rainy crying. But
Yeah.
so
And not
that song
funny
popped.
crying like Lucy. Like,
Well, I
wow.
heard him talking, and he's like, "Well, I don't have long,
Yeah.
and I don't think I'm getting to heaven." Uh,
He sure as hell ain't getting to heaven, that's for sure.
what do you say? I'm on the lowest rung of the totem pole.
Okay, I agree with that.
But maybe God will send me to heaven because I helped stop them from going to World War III, India and Pakistan. I mean, heck, he really is losing it. But as I'm like hearing this, that song popped into my head, and I'm like, oh, we got to put that up, And not that I'm making fun of anyone that's waxing forlorn about their life coming to an end, but
No, but
and I just love the imagery of the fire hydrant, and it's coming down like rain, sobbing, with the water coming off his face, and I thought this is the song for today.
we have a right to have a little bit of a laugh after what that man has been putting us through for the last 7 months.
But how do you feel about what he said? I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
he's a consummate narcissist, a sociopath. Mary Trump, his niece, the clinical psychologist, talks about this. Woe is me. He cannot stand to be laughed at. He can't stand to be humiliated. He's got this need to be superior, to be the king, to be the dictator, and it's all crumbling around him. It's imploding. It's a very tragic story, but we're watching it happen, what he's brought upon his own self.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and let's give a quick hello to everybody, and then we're going to show the video courtesy of Midas Touch. Thank you so much, everyone over at Midas Touch. I know that periodically they indulge in a little cotton candy and watch this channel, and of course they do, and I'm very grateful for that.
I'd love some cotton candy right now. Is that in accordance with your diet plan?
Not really. So thank you, Ben, for supporting us over here, and we wanted to just show Ben's video. But before we do, Chuck, who's with us today?
Who's with us? Rather than rely on these multifocal contact lenses, I'm going to be smart and try not to embarrass myself like I do typically here. We have Rose Blue 4205, Intuitive Kathy, our fabulous Joel Tilson. Let's see, I said Rose Blue. We have, this keeps jumping on me here. Let's see, Terrace Patton 9803, Shanty Rose 222. Shari Writer. That's great. I was just having someone ask me the other day about Shari Lewis, the great puppeteer, spelled her first name the same way. Weezer 324 NA3. Annie's Gifts.
Did you see what the floor director just gave us?
What did he just give us? What did he just give us?
Did you read it?
No, I didn't see it. I've got to go back here.
No, it's on the front of the screen.
Oh, it's on the front of the screen. Well, I was here reading all the names on the side of the screen. Okay, bedtime for Bonzo Trump. Okay, yeah. Good comment there. Sorry, I was focused on reading the names here. I wasn't even looking there.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be doing this. This is so wrong.
Oh, viewers love this. They love it.
Oh my God, I'm laughing my head off. Listen, I know you haven't gotten your copy yet. People are asking about where they can get a copy of our book of the month, because right now they're only 8. It's not available in print. You have to get it
Kindle.
A Kindle, and a lot of people don't like the Kindle.
Well, admittedly, I rarely use Kindle because I usually use iBooks, but I do have it on my iPad. It's easy enough to download the app.
Yeah, but I think that she sold out actually on her hard copies
Well,
because
that's good for her.
they said that they had them, and then I went back and they were gone. And I think that we gave a shout out, and then our book club is popular now. We have like hundreds of people joining.
That's
I'm so
fabulous.
grateful.
Well, I'm all for that. I think it's great to encourage it.
So she sold out on her hard copy. Sylvia, I need to contact you and let you know about the book and that you have been selected. Yeah, I was hoping that she would give us a link to where we could buy hard copies, but they've sold out of the hard copies on Amazon. So it is a Kindle. The good news is the Kindle is only $9.99 or something like that. Whereas the hard copy, I think, was like $14, $15.
Yeah.
You save a little bit of money there. Chucky Poo.
Yes, Whimsy Poo. Whimsy, my dear. Well,
So you have not seen the meltdown. So
well, I've seen enough meltdowns.
So let's go ahead without further ado. I feel like we got to talk about this.
Okay.
So here it is. Thank you so much again, Ben, over at Ben Mysolis over at Midas Touch.
That's about 500,000 people in Tel Aviv protesting the Netanyahu regime's atrocities being committed in Gaza. That's what's happening right now in Israel, which you're not seeing covered on corporate news.
500,000 from a population of 9 million. What does that tell you about Israel's support of Netanyahu? So please do not judge the Israeli people. I'm so glad he mentioned that. Thank you, Ben.
We talk about it here on the Midas Touch Network. Donald Trump is in a panic this morning, as it is very clear that he is just making things dramatically worse across the world. This from Sky News in the UK. We are further away from peace now than we were 2 years ago. Donald Trump's disastrous meeting in Alaska, combined with his disastrous meeting with European leaders, where Donald Trump took a break during the meeting to take a phone call from Vladimir Putin. And this morning, Donald Trump said that he didn't want to be disrespectful to Vladimir Putin. That's why he stepped out of the room to do the call away from European leaders, who Donald Trump says, Putin doesn't really like these European leaders. So I didn't want to disrespect Putin, of course. Well, Donald Trump this morning gave a disastrous interview with state regime media known as Fox, where Donald Trump started saying, I'm very low on the totem pole to go to heaven. I really want to go to heaven. And that's why I'm trying to do a deal. And then he talks about Pakistan and India and saying that he did a peace deal there and that's going to help him get to heaven. This is what he's thinking about. What are you even talking about? We realize how deranged this sounds, but no, Fox doesn't call him out for it. But here Donald Trump talks about he wants to make deals to help him go to heaven because he's low on the totem pole. Maybe you're low on the totem pole because of you and Epstein's connections also, and the fact that you have been found liable for sexual assault, and the fact that you're a convicted felon, and the fact that you're an overall awful human being. But anyway, here's what he said. Here, play this clip.
If I can save 7,000 people a week from being killed, I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. Well, I think I saved a lot of lives with India, Pakistan. They were going at it. The planes were being shot down. That was going to be maybe a nuclear war if I let that go. And I did that too.
Now, this was from that disastrous interview this morning where Donald Trump talked about leaving the European leaders to take a call from Putin because he didn't want to be disrespectful to Putin. Here, play this clip.
During the meeting yesterday, when you decided to call Vladimir Putin, what was the reaction among the other people in the room? And what was President Putin's reaction to being brought into a phone call in the middle of your meeting?
Well, I think they expected it. I didn't do it in front of them. I thought that would be disrespectful to President Putin. I wouldn't do that because they have not had the warmest relations. And
then Donald Trump starts attacking the European leaders and basically saying, well, they can never have a conversation with Putin, and Putin doesn't really like them that much, but Putin likes me. You realize that's pretty much a self-own that you say Putin likes you. Yes, I don't think that Vladimir.
So what are you thinking, Chuck?
What am I
I
thinking?
mean, it goes on and on that he's talking, waxing about going to heaven, and that he's done. Do you think it's finally dawning on him that he is he facing his own mortality?
Well, we've been talking for weeks and weeks now about his failing health and how we're probably not being told the whole story. You have picked up in particular how bad things actually are for him. So he could be thinking about his own mortality. I'm sure the man is just flat out exhausted. Many are pointing out his mind is going. He's showing strong signs of dementia, Alzheimer's. But I was thinking, yes, it's wrong to be laughing about this. This is tragic, but yet
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
It's almost cathartic to laugh about it. The image I had, you're familiar with Buster Keaton, aren't you? The wonderful Buster Keaton. There's a wonderful Buster Keaton movie where his character goes to heaven and he's there with St. Peter at the gate, and St. Peter presses a button and a trap door opens up and he falls straight through the chute and goes right down to hell. Where the devil is waiting for him. I had that image of Trump.
Well, I think it's really telling that all of this stuff is coming out. And then, did you see David Pakman as well talking about this recently?
I watched David Pakman. Oh, I don't know if I saw this particular one where he talked about it. Was that today's show?
Well, I think it's becoming a situation where, I don't know if the American people, it's amazing how much they have been able to get away with, and considering how crazy this is. But do you think that they can continue to cover up his health crisis? So now we have a situation also happening where it's not just one or two people that are talking about it. We also have David Pakman, also really cool. Check out his channel if you want to support independent
he's very good.
Yeah, and I
love him. I love Heather Cox Richardson, Mary Trump, Rachel.
And I think that he's good. He does due diligence in terms of the fact that he will look at multiple news sources.
Yes.
So again, here, same theme. Another reporter. Let's go for this. A little bit of David Pakman. Check out his channel if you'd like to see more of his stuff.
Patches on Donald Trump's hands are spreading, and Caroline Leavitt simply cannot cover up what's going on with Donald Trump's health anymore. Mm-hmm. We saw over the weekend at Donald Trump's golf course that the patch of makeup on his hand to cover bruising is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we've seen this in different shapes and forms and iterations over recent time. And what's happening is that the cover-up is really falling apart. Caroline Leavitt is in a position where she needs to manage two aspects of Donald Trump's health. Number one, yes, it's the cognitive. It's the incoherence. You don't have to say he has dementia to realize that he seems regularly lost, doesn't know what's going on, saying things that make no sense syntactically, saying things that make no sense factually, rambling incoherently. Last week it was about grass and who the hell knows what else. So on the one hand, you've got the brain. On the other hand, you have Caroline Leavitt trying to always give as little information as possible about what's going on with Donald Trump's physical health. Trump's working very hard. Every day we are seeing how much energy he has. The bruising on his hands is from shaking hands so vigorously with so many people. These are really not explanations. This is damage control where you release only the absolute minimum. Now,
let's break it down.
Yeah.
What feedback, Chuck? You are a physician's assistant.
Well, where's
your head going with this?
Well, we both know he's likely on blood thinners. That's the real reason for the bruising of the hands, even though he claimed that it was from shaking so many hands and his aspirin regimen. That's what he was claiming. No, he's on serious blood thinners. That's for certain.
Thank you.
Yeah, we both realized that. But, when they were talking about his cognitive abilities, I was thinking to the meeting with Zelensky, the fact you had all of these European world leaders who just dropped everything they were doing to come to Washington, to be there. They know how incompetent Trump is. They know it. They wanted to be there to help supervise the meeting, to help protect Zelensky. And, you know, at one point in the meeting, one of the leaders was Finnish President Alexander Stubb. You know about this. Later in the meeting, Trump didn't even recognize him anymore, didn't even know who he was. He's getting increasingly irrational. You know, it's no secret anymore. Everybody knows it. Certainly the world leaders know this.
Okay, so my question to you is, at what point does this cabinet step in? How close are we to Article 25?
Well, we have theorized that's going to happen, but more about his health, you know, like his cardiovascular health, the venous issue with his legs and so forth. Even though we know cognitive issues are probably the real thing here, I don't know if they're going to use that out of a need to protect what little dignity he still has for his legacy. You know, this whole idea of we're going to give you the honor of resigning.
Yes.
We see that coming. So I think they're going to make it more about his physical health within his body than his actual mental state, his obvious insanity.
Well, yeah, I think if at this level of cognitive decline and everything else, are you thinking 3 months if he's lucky?
We have been saying lately that we don't think it's going to be beyond the end of this year. And what have we got? Because we're approaching the end of August. So what's that, about 4 months left in the year? So certainly by December, I'm thinking.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Because I know you've treated thousands of patients. My question, if this guy walked into your office and you had to treat him, how serious would you think it was with this patient? Just you being a physician's assistant.
By that, you mean just looking at him? Looking
at him, doing an intake, reading about his diet.
Well, his diet, we certainly know that's...
We're assuming past drug use.
Well, yeah, that's an assumption that I have made myself. Past drug use, what is known about his cocaine, his stimulants. He's likely on Adderall. We've theorized about that. Certainly the bruising, the obvious edema, the swelling in the ankles, you know, certainly a lot of indications of congestive heart failure going on. The mental decline, probably not getting enough circulation even to his brain, probably inflammation markers all throughout his body, including the brain, which would, you know, wouldn't that bring on dementia symptoms?
Yes, it would increase.
Yeah, so those would be quick things. So right offhand, and just I think, you know, just looking at a chart, reading his diet, McDonald's, Big Macs, KFC, God only knows what else he puts in his body. I mean, I thought he was a walking time bomb in his first administration.
So if he walked in, would you be saying to yourself, this guy is not long for this world? Like, where would your head be going?
I would be inclined to think if he didn't rapidly and radically change his ways, he would be not for long on this earth, as you put it. But at this point, at his age, 79, I don't know when he turns 80, all of this going on, it does not look good. Not at all.
What about the pressures? I'm sorry, and then we'll go into other people. I just wanted your opinion because I knew your background. So what about the idea that he has the added it's not just he's not packing groceries at Albertsons.
No.
Okay, you know, where you see seniors, they need a little extra money.
A greeter at Walmart. I would turn around and walk out of the store.
So mean today.
I would turn around and walk out of the store if he was a greeter. But no, he's got the most high pressure job on the planet Earth.
Exactly.
You know, we've seen how it ages everyone.
So if this guy walked in and you did an intake and you said, "What do you do for a living?" and you expected him to say greeter at Walmart, he said, "The President of the United States," what would your reaction be?
No, but no, in all seriousness, as I just said, it's the most high pressure job in the world. 79-year-old man with all of these issues. He would need to quit that job. He would need to get out. That would be one start. But I mean, where would we even begin? Dietary changes, exercise. I think it's too late.
Now, with all of this going on, the cognitive decline, the fact that he's back and forth with certain issues, the fact that inflation is through the roof, the fact that the jobs report was only 75,000 people for the month of July.
Yeah, he fired the messenger over that.
Yes, and the last polls that came out Newsweek, which was a meta-analysis, had him at 39%.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's abysmal right now. And a lot of this is the fallout from his tariffs, the deportations, and a lot of that is only now beginning to show up. So I think it's going to get even worse. And, I just saw one thing today that the wholesale price of vegetables has went up 38.9% in July. And this is a man who was elected.
I'm vegetarian. That's terrible.
I know.
I'm on Eat to Live. It's all veg. I just eat massive amounts of vegetables all day long.
Yeah, but he was supposedly elected on the promise he was going to lower these prices. And look how, going to the grocery store right now, that's already apparent. So I think it's just going to get worse.
Well, the 38%, is that because they shut down migrant workers? So
yes. Well, I think that's part of it. Yeah. And then the tariffs aren't they just now the effects of the tariffs just now starting to show up?
Oh my God.
But yeah, the migrant workers, there's stories out here in Southern California about fruits and vegetables are sitting on farms rotting.
I just can't even think.
People not able to pick them. People afraid to go to work because they think they're going to get captured and deported or put into these like alligator Alcatraz or any of these other concentration camps Trump's talking about building. And, there've been reports about those, about people not being able to bathe or shower. They're being forced to eat food off the floor like a dog. There was a story just recently on the local news here, a woman crying because her father had been captured and he was diabetic, and she was crying hysterically going, they wouldn't let my father take his insulin with him. He's going to die. What's going to happen to him?
He's going to die?
Well, that's what she said, the daughter, because
she's right.
Yeah, he doesn't have his insulin. So we're hearing a lot of those stories on the local news here in Los Angeles. LA is an obvious
senior
target.
with diabetes, and you think that that's a threat to national security? Who do you think? Oh, for the love of God.
Oh, yeah. And Trump is worried about going to heaven. And also Trump allegedly is campaigning very hard to get a Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, give me a break.
And yeah, exactly. Because
I know, we'll do Oasis 1. We'll steal it from that crazy lady, give her no credit. And yeah.
Yeah, I know. I only hope the Nobel Committee.
And if we have to kill everybody in Gaza to do it, we will, right?
Yeah, I would certainly hope they would take everything into consideration. That man should not even be near a Nobel Peace Prize. God. But let's see, Joel Tilson just said Trump is getting medications through IV daily.
Do you think that's a possible? I guess he's
do you think that could account for some of the bruising?
I think it's very likely, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there could be a catheter of some type.
Yeah, you've mentioned that before, the possibility.
I don't know, man. It's very strange. I mean, I agree with you about the blood thinners, which and the shaking of hands could be aggravating it.
Well, it could be aggravating it. That could be.
Mitch McConnell held on for a long time, and it looked like he was on blood thinners as well.
Yeah, and then Mitch McConnell started just blanking out in front of the press. He'd have these long periods where he would just
strokes.
Yeah, strokes, mini strokes.
Yeah, but he's not the president. I mean,
no, thank God.
Well, they drove Biden out because of cognitive decline. They felt he was having cognitive decline and attacked him left and right for it. So now what are they going to do? This guy's now the age that Biden was when they said, get out the door.
Exactly. If Trump by some miracle were to make it to the end of this term, he would officially be the oldest president in American history. But
I don't think he's going to make it.
No, I don't either. Yeah. But here's the comment. Everything that he has accused everyone else of everything that he has accused everyone else for is all coming back to him. I mean, everything. Yes. Karma is coming back. I mean, Trump is a master gaslighter. He's been doing this forever. Gaslighters accuse people of the very thing they're doing themselves.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Quote, lowest on the totem pole, unquote, is one of the most racist things you can say, Trump. My husband is indigenous. Also, off the reservation racist, racist, racist. Just a few of people's comments. Just stop.
Like he could be anything other than a racist, though. Given his past history, I mean,
yeah.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
He's just being himself. F-45 body is having difficulty absorbing the medication as his systems are taxed. Whimsy, what do you think about that as a doctor?
Well, I think, he's definitely on blood thinners, and I think he's definitely shaking hands. And if he's on blood thinners and shaking hands, then that's going to be contributing to the bruising. But I also think it's likely that he's getting something administered. But it felt to me, just because when I put myself in his shoes, I felt a pinching. It felt like my inner thigh, there was a pinching. And when it rubbed against my pants, it pinched and it hurt. And it was like this pinching. And so when I sat in that pain, I couldn't figure out, have I had a stent placed that's causing this?
Yeah.
Have I had a bypass? But I felt like maybe there was an incision or something, but it was
for a bypass
on my right side. A bypass would, you would remove the great saphenous. I know that the ambulances were there prior to the election, and he had been missing for 4 or 5 days. That would explain a stent. A stent, you'd be out for 4 or 5 days, but then you'd be able to be up and around. And then he was with Elon Musk, and he wasn't doing a lot. He was just watching a rocket go off, but he looked absolutely horrible. So he would have had a stent placed, but which also would have required them probably to go through the femoral artery. But I felt this pinching and pain on that leg. And it was causing me to drag the leg to keep it from rubbing against.
Yes, you can see that when he's walking.
So
at least in certain videos, you see that.
But my first thought was bypass. So, and the other reason why I'm going, and I think you had said bypass too, was because of the rapid change in with the edema.
Yeah.
If you have a naturally occurring because you've been standing at Walmart for a long time and then you slowly develop edema, it doesn't come on as quickly as that. But if you've had a heart attack and then you've had some kind of emergency procedure, then you would see a difference 6 months ago versus now, as opposed to somebody we see this kind of venous insufficiency in nurses, waitresses. They may have fine heart health, but that's not what this is looking like.
Yeah, it's just like varicose veins are also very common for people like that.
Right.
Standing a lot.
Yeah, the vein collapses and the valves collapse. And so the ability to take the blood up, and so it stasis, it settles, and then the serum seeps through the interstitial space, and that's how you get that edema. And so it's something that happens slowly over time in seniors. But this came on, the fact that it came on seemingly quickly leads me to think more myocardial infarction, which would be the damage to the heart muscle, which would be causing his ejection fraction to be, he would have a lower ejection fraction. And that
it would be more erratic, right?
Well, a couple things can cause you to have this kind of a problem. If the heart becomes sick and you have an arrhythmia, so it's not beating in sync, then it's not able to properly eject. And that can cause a poor blood flow. And that usually
blood clots.
Right. And we'll usually give a medication like a beta blocker, which will slow down the heartbeat so that it has time, rather than having all this erratic beat where it's just flip-flopping. It will slow down, and with a beta blocker it'll have time to fill adequately and then push all the blood, and then that's supposed to push it back up. But if the person's had damage to the wall of the heart, that ejection is not happening, or if there's an arrhythmia. But this looks more like post myocardial infarction and damage to the myocardial to the myocardium.
It's interesting that this seems to have happened a lot more recently than we had thought, because we had speculated possibly in the 4 years between his two terms, but now it's sounding more like very close to the beginning of his term.
I think
of this second term.
Yeah, maybe it was happening on the campaign trail. I know he was out for a week or two, and people were like, "Where's Donald Trump?" And that would be most likely.
He was letting his ear grow back.
Right. So I'm wondering if that's when a cardiac event happened.
Yeah, it's possible, because we saw that when he was campaigning, he was getting increasingly, shall we say, crazier. Just making these bizarre statements and things. And I'm sorry, I missed the question there.
Well, yeah, but also that he looked like hell when he
Yes,
was
he did.
standing next to Elon Musk. I mean, I can look up that picture, but if he had a heart attack around that time when the ambulances came, and Donald Trump at a rocket launch at SpaceX, right?
And I think that was in his first month of his second administration, wasn't it? The rocket launch?
No. It was November 19th.
Oh, okay. So it was just after the election then.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what people were commenting on was, why did he look so sick?
Yeah.
And it was about a week after the ambulance. We can look at when the ambulance appeared.
Yeah.
But he was looking pretty damn sick.
He was.
On those.
I remember that. We were also, didn't he? That was a rare time he wasn't wearing his makeup. I think people were commenting on how pale he was.
I think he was still. Let's take a look. And
I'd have to.
But if he had a heart attack, it was maybe a week or two prior to this event. It'd be the most likely time he would have had an MI.
And
he just looks awful.
Yeah.
And he was very subdued too. And he's covering that right hand.
Right.
So my spiny sense, just as a physician, I'm immediately thinking, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
He just did not look well. And he was not very physically active at that time. He just simply had to go, stand, see the rocket launch, and leave. It just did not. I don't know. Maybe it could have been the pressure from the campaign that eventually led to the MI. I don't know.
Possibly.
If it happened sometime around this period.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Didn't he also drop out of public view for a while after he was elected? We
had the incident. We had the incident where the ambulance came to Mar-a-Lago, and then he disappeared for about 4 days. But if you've had a stent placed or something like that, you could do a quick 5-10 minute cameo and walk out, bypass a week later. If you just have to stand there, I mean, you're not complete. It's not like they're, if it's a stent placed, they don't have to break your chest open. But something seems to have happened that has had something happened. I believe it was a heart attack. When it happened, I don't know. Could have been that he had a heart attack before that, and that was another heart attack.
It could have been.
He could have had multiple heart attacks.
Yeah, that would certainly make sense. Weren't we also talking once, there was speculation that there might be body doubles or people wearing like latex makeup to look like him from a distance? And because that's been speculated about Putin, it's been speculated about Melania Trump.
Yes.
And I think I remember us talking about that during that period. That was Trump using doubles.
Something wasn't right. And
something weird.
Yeah, something right around that time, couple of weeks. We can look that up too. What is Joel talking about here?
Well, Joel is asking, is Vice President Vance planning Article 25 on Trump? Well, we'll get to that question.
We could do the empath prayer and do a blitz. Yes, Facebook post from November 24th. This is why I love AI. It makes work. You still are going to have work, folks. I know everyone's worried about AI, just like they thought home computers was going to take out work. Yeah, look at what happened. We just now work with home computers.
Yeah.
A Facebook post, November 20th, around the same time, showed ambulances leaving Mar-a-Lago. The post was updated to declare that it was a routine part of Jay Dance's, so they covered it up. In August of 2024, a letter concerning closure of the road in Mar-a-Lago, security around is reportedly increased. Sometime between August and November is when these rumors started to go.
Yeah, because I remember us talking about that.
And it doesn't make sense that it would be J.D. Vance's motorcade. Why would there be sirens? And why did it go in and then turn the sirens off when it left. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. You know, I was also
And it was a couple weeks prior to that launch. So that
Yeah.
if it happened, and I'm not even saying that, you know, he could have had more than one, but if there was an event, it's very likely that there was an event at that time.
Yeah. Now, I know we're talking about Mar-a-Lago, but doesn't the White House have a fully equipped hospital operating room for emergencies?
Yeah, but
And also Air
he
Force
wasn't
One.
there. He wasn't there.
Oh, I know, but I meant Air Force One also.
Yeah.
Stand to reason, since he is the president, there would be something similar at Mar-a-Lago, some sort of emergency room procedure type of thing.
I don't think there is, no.
Probably not in this case.
But I do know that they have to have certain things because I've worked in hotels. Like we have to have a first aid kit, and we have to have first aid kits, I think, on every floor, and fire hydrants on every floor.
Yeah. I think also even cruise ships have to be equipped with something like that for emergencies.
Yeah. And you go through training and you can never remember it. How to evacuate the ship. Yeah, when I was at University of Washington, I was doing day cruises, and we had to go put on the life vest and help with the escort. And it's like, now where are we supposed to go? Is it we didn't ever remember. Thank God nothing ever happened.
Thank God.
All right.
We're laughing at very inappropriate things.
I know.
Lindsay.
I just got the giggles. I guess because I've just been up since like 6 in the morning. I've been so busy.
Well, you know, I think also this news is just so absurd, and we've been dealing with it for so many months. It's almost cathartic to laugh about it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm acknowledging it's wrong. What we're doing.
All right, folks. I think we're going to do some blitz away as soon as we get the order. But why don't we go ahead? We'll do the Empath prayer. And if you or anyone you love would like to receive a healing at this time, please tell everyone in the group here, give us your name or the name of the person you care about, and we will include them in our prayers. We also want to include Linda G., our beloved Linda. Evidently, Linda G. is, I guess, something her daughter had asked us to include her in our prayers. And we love Linda. We love you, Linda. We adore you, and we are praying for you. So let's go ahead and we'll bring in the Empath prayer. Okay. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen.
Amen.
And for those people today who are requesting a healing for themselves and for those they love, we come together at this time and we pray. We pray that you and those you love receive a perfect healing in mind, body, and in spirit. And again, collectively, we say, Amen, Amen, Amen. May all souls be healed.
May all souls be healed.
All right, let's do some blitzes.
Okay.
Are we ready to blitz away?
Let's blitz away, Whimsy.
All right, so thank you. Special shout out to our floor director, the amazing Joel Tilson. He has organized some questions based on what people want to know, and let's take a look at the first one. What have we got, Joel?
Okay, if no deal is reached between Putin and the West, will NATO step in?
That's a really good question.
Yeah. Let's start with a yes or no. Will NATO step in? NATO's.
God, I hope so.
Well, I'm going to say right off the bat, I'm getting a yes with the pendulum, but I want to look at the cards here. What are you getting?
Good things.
Good things. Okay, me too. Me too. Well, first of all, I'm just going to be real quick here because I have a feeling you'll have a better reading for me. But I got cards that acknowledge the situation, suffering, loss, survival, deceit. However, there's also the truth that's going to rise up. And I think that's where NATO is going to step in based on my pendulum, because I also got new life and victory.
Damn, you and I are so.
What'd
This
you get,
guy,
Whimsy?
a psychic told him that we were brother and sister in a previous lifetime.
Yes.
Like somebody
yes.
had asked, why haven't we ever dated? And we looked at each other like, well, it never even entered
That
our
would be
mind to think about the other
incestuous.
person like this. And it was like, oh, because we're brother and sister.
Brother and sister.
We've always had that connection of being
Made
like
a lot of
siblings,
sense to
and
me.
we've never had that weird energy. But
Yeah,
you
but
know
that's
what?
worked for us very
Yeah,
well.
yeah, and we've been very close friends for a long time. But
very
you know
close.
what's interesting is this war presents as the 10 of Swords.
Mm-hmm.
So where Ukraine is at, the war, you know, it's not just Ukraine. It's these Russian. They wanted to lower the age to like 16. Now he wants to kill his kids. Well, you're not in high school. If you drop out of high school, or even if you're in high school, I mean, he killed off all of the Russian soldiers. He killed off all of Wagner. He killed off all the Chechens.
Wasn't
and the
he bringing
Koreans.
prisoners also, like
Killed
rapists
off
and convicts?
Yes, he killed the
Yeah.
prisoners. Now, so you've got this 10 of Swords over the situation. So many people have died. The thief flees is the opposition. So the Russians flee.
Yeah.
You know, and I always see them as stealing from Ukraine. Like when they went into those churches and they took the icons back to St. Petersburg.
Yes.
What kind of a freaking church are you? Like, what the hell is that? Give the damn icons back. Who does that? Can you imagine?
Of course.
Your church taking a bunch of stolen items. Well, we have a right to it because we gave that Bible to the Ukraine. What the hell? Like, is this religion? But you see the thieves leaving. Here it is, the healing. There's NATO.
Yeah.
It goes back. You said victory. Look, victory, 6 months.
That's good.
So weird that our cards always match.
I love it. I love it. We each have our own interpretation. But when I asked the pendulum, it was a very strong yes. But I was being conservative and cautious. I wanted to check the cards, and then your reading concurred.
Yeah. So basically, yes, NATO. You know, NATO is not going to let this happen. I think that's what they're saying.
Okay. Now this question, I don't even know. You have to be psychic to answer this question. But is Trump really a compromised president, with Putin having dark secrets about Donald? What do you think?
I don't think we're going to even bother.
I think we know that one. Yeah.
Just the fact that he borrowed money.
Tapes, you know?
He borrowed money from AEB Bank, Deutsche Bank, the money that to bail him out. It was linked back to the Russian oligarchs through a flush fund of Deutsche Bank. It's, it's not like we don't have a money trail.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
It's been obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, with the firing of the labor statistics secretary, will the monthly jobs report be met with skepticism? How will the stock market react?
Oh my God.
I can't help but think the report is going to be met with skepticism, because I think it's rather apparent that Trump is going to be trying to manipulate with it. Don't you, Whimsy?
Let's take a look.
Yeah, we'll look.
I'm not feeling good about this one.
No.
Hopefully I don't know.
Okay. So what is the specific question?
Let's just look at the jobs. Let's just look at this. Let's look at the stock market. Let's just look at. I'm not feeling good.
Whoa.
Oh, see.
Okay, right off the bat. I don't even know if I need to pull more cards. I got despair. Do I need to pull more cards, Whimsy?
No, I got Knight of Swords, violence, crazy, chaos.
Yeah.
It's going to be a run-up. What the hell is this guy doing? Do you think he's like intentionally trying to destroy our country? Like, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think at least.
Look at the reaction. People are at war. This president's at 39%. How bad can it get? Does he even who supports him? People that are in a coma that aren't able to read the news. Look at that.
Well, they do read the news, but it's Fox News. Yeah.
But Fox is turning on him. Have you heard?
That's true. That's true.
Look at this. People are lost. Yeah, unfortunately, I see more bad news for the stock market. Well, I'm not putting money in the stock market.
No.
Like I have mutual funds, and everybody has a little something on the side.
Yeah.
that we, but not me, not now.
Whimsy, didn't you not too long ago see a housing crisis, the housing market crisis also coming?
That was the other thing that came up in the cards was the tower, and the tower is the house crashing. And so I'm concerned not only about the stock market, but I'm concerned about the housing market, which is great news if you want to buy, because sometime around fall, winter, we see a drop in, nobody can afford to buy a house.
No, I can't.
So exactly. I mean, and we're talking about people who have the salaries that we had. We used to be able to buy a house in the 70s.
Sure. In my parents' era, everybody could get a home.
Well, my parents' first house was a little tiny maid's house, what we called the maid's house, which usually 2 or 3 bedrooms, and it was where the maid lived, and the maid had her house. And and it was next to Green Lake in Seattle, Washington. That's probably $1.2 million now, a little maid
easily.
house.
Well, here in Southern California, that would definitely be at least $1 million.
So they sold it for, I think, $40,000.
Yeah.
In 1979, 80. And then they bought a beautiful 4-bedroom in University of Washington for $80,000, which is now $1.5 million. That is ridiculous.
Of course, it's beyond absurd. It's beyond absurd. That's why it's so hard to get an apartment in Los Angeles, because there's so many people who can't afford to buy houses, so they have no choice but to rent. And I'm one of those people.
Yeah, and you start to feel like, did I screw up? No. Your parents could buy, my mother could buy, and if you adjust for inflation, that means that they bought the house for about $95,000.
Yeah.
It's now 1.2 million. Come on, man, that's ridiculous.
Of course, it's absurd. But do you know, this little apartment I have, there was a list of 100 people trying to get it. 100 people. And the reason I got it was because I got very chummy with the landlords. And I even wrote an essay. I did. I literally wrote a 2-page essay on why I love this apartment and why I want it so much.
Well, actually, you do have a really great apartment. So you got lucky in that department. Okay, let's see what the next one is.
Okay. Did anyone notice how Trump walked on the tarmac in Alaska? He couldn't walk a straight line. Yes, on that red carpet.
What is that about? What do you think? Now, are you thinking proprioception is off? Or what do you think was...
Well, he's obviously easily fatigued right now. You know, like what happened in the meeting the other day when he didn't even recognize the Finnish president. You know, later in the day, I think his balance is off. I don't know. Could it be a reaction to medications he's doing? Do you think, Whimsy? What do you think?
I mean, I don't know, but for people who don't know, I don't know if it's proprioception. If he, as we get older, we don't know where we are in space. Like, if you have a pain in your back and you're young, you can say, oh yeah, it's my lower back.
Yeah.
As we get older, I have a pain where I'm not sure. So we lose our ability to know where we are in space. Yeah. And so proprioception problems certainly can happen as we age. Yeah. I honestly don't know.
Well, you know something else, Whimsy? You said a man in his health should not be flying. And here he had just gotten off a plane.
This is a concern. Well, I think you said the same thing. I mean, we're talking about edema and, risk for deep venous thrombosis. But So, yeah.
Yeah.
So
it was literally getting off the plane.
And that that right leg,
yeah.
He doesn't like it to rub. I don't like the way it feels when my pants rub against my inner thigh. It hurt me when I was Trump, which tells me that something is going on that right leg.
Yeah.
Which is why I had thought, did I have a stent placed? Is this post-stent or is this post-bypass? Because I can definitely tell you that right leg is hurting, that inner thigh area.
Yeah.
And then this is the point people are talking about, where he doesn't seem to be able to stay. He just kind of wanders, and then he...
Oh, do you think he could have been drinking on the plane?
No, but
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening here.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Yeah, it's bad. I can
Yes,
tell
it
you it's
is.
bad. I don't know, man. I mean, my first thought is proprioception. His inner ear is off.
Yeah,
His
inner ear. Yeah.
proprioception is off. Now, inner ear, it could be arthritis of the inner ear, which is something that also happens when we age because this is something that I always put on people's finals, is that the smallest bones in the human body are in
Mhm.
the inner ear, right?
The coccyx.
The
No, 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 no.
stapes,
The
the incus, and the other one I can't remember. The
I,
stapes, the
I
incus.
had this memorized, Whimsy. I'm
I know
embarrassing
because I knew
myself
it
right
was
now.
going to be on your final.
Yes.
But yeah, so what happens is those confuse or become damaged. They are the smallest bones in the human body. They're
Yeah.
very vulnerable, as are the bones of the hands are very soft and can break.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it could be that he is losing his equilibrium as just a consequence of aging and loss
Yeah.
of proprioception and loss of balance, which can also be a consequence of aging, arthritis, damage to the inner ear.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm also wondering if it's also just a mixture of all of his prescription medications and his non-prescription medications, just all the stuff he puts in his body, all the damage from all these years.
Yeah, that's something else to think about. That looked to me like something was going on with his inner ear, and that could again just be something we see as we age, where people will get dizzy and their inner ear will start to show the effects of aging, basically.
Do you think he needs hearing aids? Some have been asking that.
I think it's very likely. Most men, if you're looking at loss of hearing, it is higher if you have a Y chromosome.
Mm-hmm.
And so the other thing is that men lose their hearing often in the range of their wife's voice. And so it can drive women crazy because it's the higher frequencies that men lose first.
Ooh.
And men do lose their hearing sooner than women. And it is something we find on the Y chromosome. Isn't that interesting?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of material.
And same with being colorblind, which is a defect, I believe, on the X chromosome.
Yeah.
You have to be homozygous. I think this is something else that might have been on the funnel. But because females have two X's and you're rarely homozygous, and so for that reason,
I was going to say women rarely are colorblind.
Yeah, and I think that's on the X chromosome, but we have two X's, so if you're heterozygous, you're going to be able to not be colorblind. But if you're homozygous for somebody who passes it down, and you've only got one X, then you're going to be colorblind.
Yeah. Okay, here's a good question from Joel. Will Zelensky give Putin Ukrainian territory for peace deal? I mean, I know Trump has already alluded to that. Like that's the only way there can be a peace deal is if Zelensky gives away part of the Ukraine to Russia, and we both think that's absurd. But will he actually do that?
Well, the thing is that they're guilt tripping him. All these Ukrainians are dying because of your selfishness. You're such a selfish man, and if you would just make a deal with Putin, the Ukrainian people wouldn't die, and they would vote against you if they could, but there's no elections during a war. This is how they're spinning it. But the truth of the matter is, when you go into it objectively, just as a remote viewer, it's a volcano that is erupting. And so say you allow troops in Crimea, you've got this volatile, unstable lunatic who's going to swoop down and attack you at any moment. And so that is why it's non-negotiable. No, you can't stay in Crimea. You can't stay anywhere here. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You got to get the hell out. You've got to get completely out. And what Putin is trying to do is keep his bases in Crimea, keep parts of the Donbass. He wants the trade routes. This is something he's talked about ad nausea. In 2019, he told us to take the trade routes, and I still didn't believe him, and I was the one channeling him. So because come on, he didn't mean it. And he told you, Whimsy, he was trying to take over the world. So
Sure.
I never want to see the bad in people, even
Yeah.
telling me that they're going to do these.
We're even wondering about that meeting in Alaska, what was really being discussed. Like, we theorized it possibly was about the trade routes, going beyond Alaska,
yeah.
going through the North Pole.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Russia.
Not so much taking Alaska, though he would be in a much better position to take Alaska if he had those trade routes, just as he was in a much better position to take Ukraine if he had those trade routes and had control over Crimea.
Yeah.
So it's the beginning of the end. Come on, let me have the trade route. Let me just go into those areas of blockade. Yes, just like you did in Ukraine. It's absolute insanity.
Of course it is.
Oh my God.
All right. How long, this is a good question. How long will Russia last in its weakened state? And I know you did a show very recently where you were talking about
last night.
Last night you were channeling, you saying basically the Russian economy is in flames right now. Things are very, very bad. Putin is getting increasingly desperate. But the question, of course, is how long will Russia last in its weakened state?
Well, who's left to fight? I mean, what are they going to do? Start dragging teenagers out? They've talked about that's what they
probably
tried to do in Georgia and these other areas, is to try and get Russian teenagers and also Georgians and Chechens and everybody else to go fight.
Wasn't that happening in World War II?
Well, yeah, and he cannot. Yes, I mean, like they found soldiers in the snow that were 14 years old.
I know. That's what I was going to say. Hitler was doing that. But
I've got a famous photograph of like a 14-year-old dead in the snow.
It probably is, like in the back of my head, I can recall that. But
Really
I knew that was going on because they were getting so desperate. Yeah, but literally just taking boys and putting them out there and handing them guns.
Yeah.
People not even trained in military procedure were doing the training. In fact, that's going on now. But that's a good question about how long will it last? Whimsy, I'm thinking this is a better question for you because with your tarot cards, you're good at determining time frames.
Well, yeah, we use wands as
that's what I'm thinking. You should answer.
They said 6 of wands, so we would say that the point is that NATO does not break up. They be consistent and they barrel down because Russia cannot hold on.
Yeah,
they don't have any more fighters. The truth is, NATO should have gone in a long time ago.
Yeah.
And then less people would have died. That's my opinion.
I'm even wondering what has taken so long.
I don't know. Probably the United States.
Wow. This is a question because of Russia in its vulnerable state right now. Joel is asking, will China invade Russia for its resources? This would certainly seem like an opportune time to do it.
Yes, and they want complete control of Mongolia. They don't want Mongolia to be an independent state.
Yeah.
And Mongolia has an interesting history where it tried to be independent and Russia came in, gave food aid, and then Russia pulled back from its food aid from inoculations. I found out about that because when I was doing remotes, I kept hearing monotonous Russian propaganda, and then I had to look it up, and I found out that it was in fact true that they were vaccinating kids, giving them free Soviet educations, and when they went into Mongolia, and to make them pro-Soviet, but also to make them an ally against China. So there is definitely this feeling that whole area could be subject to, and the fact that they, it's almost as if China wants the war to keep going so that Russia will be wiped out.
Will just be depleted of everything.
Let's take a look. I think it's a good question.
Well, also there's a point here that paperback writer 123 made. First, they'd have to get over the Himalayas, and there are natural buffers like that. The Himalayas would be particularly formidable to cross over, but of course they can also go by plane, by drone, other ways of doing it. But we're asking the question specifically, Whimsy, again.
Wait a minute. You mean couldn't they go through the Goji Desert? What's that train that leaves from Beijing that goes to Russia?
I'm not sure, but I was just thinking the massive size of Russia, there are other routes into there, but the Himalayas would be one.
What about the Trans-Siberian Railway? That goes to China, doesn't it?
I'm not sure.
I think so, yeah. You can catch it. They say it's not safe, like people just sit around and drink. but I know other people that say that they didn't. It was absolutely amazing. And there is a train leaving from Beijing,
Yeah.
and it crosses into Siberia.
Yeah.
And
Joel just said the Orient Express.
oh, thank you, Joel.
Yeah, the Orient Express.
He's really good about that.
know that myself.
But did you guys hear about this? There was a guy who he took the he was a comedian, actually. He was a comedian that studied the Russian. He took the
I
Russian,
think I know who you mean. Was it Yakov Smirnov?
who was it?
There was a Russian in the, I
Russian,
think in the 80s or 90s who defected from the Soviet Union and came here and had a comedy career for a while.
From China to Russia. It was absolutely fascinating, but I saw the documentary, and the whole entire time he was sitting there, it was so, there was nothing to do but drink. And Russia and North Koreans in Russia, and he did North Koreans in Russia, and what he found was that there were work camps, North Korean work camps, and he actually got people to, it was for Vice. Shane, he went to Vice. You guys know Shane? He's a comedian who does documentaries for Vice.
Oh.
But he did the Vice. He did the Vice on that. Let me see if I can. It was a 7-part series, and yeah, he saw the labor camps, and when he got to the train, everybody was drunk, and it was vodka, and all they would do when they were drunk is give me some of your vodka, because all they were doing is sitting around drinking. And then they looked at him, are you a Jew? Are you a Jew? I know you're a Jew. I know you're a Jew. It was just, all they did was drink. And you can see here, this is how they crossed through. Wow. And it was just constant fighting on the train, because everybody was drunk.
Yeah, I can imagine all the erratic behavior.
And he said it was just everybody sat to get out of your bed and the heat. People just sat in the restaurant and drank alcohol. I mean, it doesn't look like the food is bad, but
food. I'm surprised they have time for food. It's packed with vodka. Great.
Yeah, so you can see like this back and forth between that area and Russia, and there are people that have done it and said it was amazing, but I think it's extremely dangerous to take that trade route.
God.
Well, did you have fun, my love?
Yes, I did. I always have fun with you, Whimsy, and all of you wonderful people out there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
A lot of crazy news today. A lot.
Yeah. I mean, when is the news not crazy? It's been utterly insane for months upon months right now. I think many people I talk to personally, and as your assistant, I call people all over the country. People are just like overwhelmed. We've been assaulted with absurd news.
So what are you up to? If people want to get a reading with you or contact you, what's going on? How do they do that?
Well, I've been doing quite a few readings lately.
I know you have.
And I've been loving this very much. But it's just my name. You see, Chuck Dransfield. It's Dransfield Chuck, one word, at gmail.com.
And leave your phone number or he can't call you. A lot of people will email him and say, I'd like a reading, and give your phone number, and he'll call you and schedule it.
And the other thing I do, I'm a professional artist. I do portraits of people, and I'm very good at looking at a photograph and reading the energy of that person and tapping into their soul energy as I draw or paint them. And I can often have messages for you. So that's another thing I do. I'm working on a cat portrait right now for that reason.
And you have a special thing coming up this Thursday, a special channeled message. You want to give a little to people of what's coming on Thursday?
Well, I'm still working on this. Tentatively, it's going to be Lucille Ball.
Oh God, I'm so excited.
She wants to talk, but I also have a few others trying to come in. So I'm going to see what the message is going to be.
I gotta hear from her. I need a strong woman.
Well, okay. It may be Lucy then.
Yeah, I
She's
need
very strong-willed. She's
somebody
very
strong and
opinionated.
funny because I need
Well,
humor and I need feminist.
the thing I always warn people about Lucy, everybody expects her to be funny. They're thinking it's going to be Lucy Ricardo. Lucille Ball was a very serious woman, a very intelligent, very serious, somewhat stern woman. And that's more of her personality. She was never a joke teller, so to speak. She was
Okay.
just a good actress, probably the best ever at playing comedy. But the real Lucy is a lot more serious. So I warn people about that in advance.
Okay, well, we definitely want to hear from her.
Okay.
And you also have Chuck's Captivating Chronicles.
Chuck's Captivating Chronicles, my other channel, and Chuck's Captivating Chat, a live stream on Mondays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm here with you on Tuesdays, and then we're together on Thursdays.
Yes, Thursdays for Hot Topics. That's more gossip and
Mhm.
more talking about the royals, talking about actors, famous people, talking about Hollywood stuff. And
Yeah.
there's a lot going on too with that. And I'll send you some interesting stuff that's going on
Okay,
in terms
please
of
do.
Hollywood. I guess whether or not Diddy's going to be released or if he's going to have to do
Yeah, there's a
that.
whole lot of stuff we could talk about. You know,
Yeah.
like the Kennedy Center nominees, how allegedly Tom Cruise refused the honor because of Trump. That's allegedly. I saw
I
that.
would like to talk about that. And
Yeah, Gloria Gaynor, there's a possibility she might decline the honor. I've been hearing that because
yeah.
I have a friend who knows her. So maybe I'm violating confidentiality here, but she's in a real dilemma here because it's going to offend her fan base if she accepts
Right.
that honor. So we've got a lot of Hollywood stuff that actually ties in with the news.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for being here. If you need to see me as a doctor or a consult for a reading, check out all that information below. And of course, from Chuck and myself, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. God bless.
Thank you.
Peace
Thank
out.
you.
We will see you next time. Thank you
See you
so
next
much, my
time.
loves. Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank
See you
you.
Thursday.